Hi and welcome to CBN4's Primetime News Package for today. I'm your presenter, Alian Christopher. First up, the government has officially launched the Climate Resilience Execution Agency of Dominica, and Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit has called upon the Dominican population and other partners to join the government in its quest of building the first climate resilient nation of the world. The Prime Minister says, therefore, the need for a fully integrated plan cutting across all of government, economy and society is needed to achieve the goal set for climate resilience in Dominica.
We also know that we must think big and small, fast and slow. We must break down our journey into manageable stages, into a well-coordinated, carefully sequenced set of projects, annual plans, and realistic 6-month targets. And that is another reason why we need CREED.
The Prime Minister also indicated that time is a factor in the execution of the functions of the Climate Resilience Execution Agency of Dominica.
And we are aware that time is not on our side. Sea levels continue to rise, temperatures are mounting, and another hurricane season beckons. As long as there are Dominicans who remain at risk from a climate disaster, our task is unfinished and progress must be faster. Good execution and prompt execution is as important as wise strategy. We need a climate war room, an unforgiving focus, a relentless sense of urgency. We need a tight working relationship with our development partners, united in common resolve to deliver quickly. And that is another reason why we need a dedicated team at CREED.
The signing of the establishment of CREED is expected to transition from inception to a fully fledged statutory body within 3 months. The chairing of CREED's transition committee is the Honorable Minister for Foreign Affairs, Francine Baron. She is ably supported by the Secretary to the Cabinet, Ambassador Steve Farrell, Financial Secretary Rosamond Edwards, Permanent Secretary Gloria Joseph, Ambassador Edward Lambert, and Special Economic Advisor Professor Avinash Posada. A leader of the Dominica Freedom Party, Kent Vital, says that the development and the launching of the Climate Resilience Executive Agency of Dominica, CREED, is a clear admission of poor planning failure of Dominica. Vital declared that in proper planning, there has to be a ministry that is responsible for interministerial coordination. He said the Ministry of Finance and Planning, which is already under the portfolio of the Prime Minister, should have always been the ministry responsible for coordinating interministerial activity with a mechanism already in place.
So the fact that you have to do CREED now suggests that all along you were not thinking properly through planning and implementation issues. But fast forward, we recognize that there was a planning failure. Now we've got to do it. It's sometimes important to go back and fix planning and not necessarily have some patchwork. So the question becomes, what about the past? What were our failures in the past? And I could discuss particularly 3 areas of concerns or 3 reasons why people may choose to set up special institutions. But one is that in the past we may have had issues with transparency. Secondly, we may have had issues with failure to recognize and to follow proper procurement laws. Now, I don't know, and the government will have to tell us, what about the CREED will help us to overcome these 2 challenges? What about the CREED will help us to ensure that implementation, reconstruction implementation, or projects that we're going to be implementing for reconstruction, that they're going to be transparent, that proper and due procedures are going to be followed, especially if the persons who are going to be hired to run the CREED, especially if these are persons who are hired to facilitate the current political administration. We all know and we all have seen, and very few of us have any confidence whatsoever in the way, in governance, in the governance of this current administration. So I have no guarantees that CREED is going to be any different from anything we have had in the past. So I'm not sure if CREED would solve any problem to do with implementation or procurement.
Vital further mentioned that countries that have implemented special implementation units to do priority projects often comes out of a greater need for focus on the particular area.
But the truth is, even before the hurricane, right, we had the Ministry of Finance and Planning, which was already under the Prime Minister. So I don't know how much more focus a CREED is going to give when we had already had a situation. We had a Ministry of Finance and Planning, which is supposed to be responsible for those interministerial kinds of coordination. We already had that, and it was already under the Prime Minister. So what new is CREED going to bring? Secondly, we all know, and we have all gotten accustomed to the style of the Prime Minister. He is quite, from everything you hear, a dictator. So I don't know what extra CREED is going to bring. If you're looking for special focus, I don't know how CREED is going to help. Nevertheless, if you want to do CREED, then do it within the perspective of proper planning. And we have offered in the past, we have said in the past, we need to fix our planning, and the Freedom Party is still willing to offer and to advise the government on how to do planning properly. But planning has to be holistic. It has to start with the formation of a plan, of a vision, and a medium-term strategy. And resilience and reconstruction should fit into that. Priorities should be identified, and sometimes you do need special mechanisms for pursuing priorities, but it has to be within an overall planning framework that is sustainable. And
Vital concluded by saying that he doesn't know if the Dominican government can do anything properly. And in keeping with the objectives of the Disaster Vulnerability Reduction Project to reduce climate change impacts through investments in resilient infrastructure, a massive project for the East Coast Road will soon get underway. The Project Coordination Unit of the DVRP launched a kickoff meeting for the pre-engineering and design services of the East Coast Roadworks. The pre-engineering and design are for 43.3 kilometers of road from Pont Cassé roundabout to Castlebros and Castlebros to Hatton and Petit Soufriere respectively. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Planning, Gloria Joseph, said the rehabilitation of the East Coast Road is significant to her ministry.
We found that the area had peculiar vulnerabilities which were exacerbated by the passage of Hurricane Maria. The topography of the area poses serious challenges, and we are quite pleased that this project will bring on board persons with specialty skills in engineering, particularly hydrology, geology, and the other technical expertise that are presented before us. So it is indeed an exciting phase for us to know that finally the project is coming together as you work on the pre-engineering and design phases.
Joseph went on to say that Hurricane Maria exposed a number of vulnerabilities.
Realized that the East Coast was already posed with certain challenges in that there were two routes from the east. For example, you would either pass the Petit Savane route on the southeast, or you could take the route via Castlebros La Plaine route to get into town. After the tropical storm Erica, we realized that there were certain road impediments in that the people, the residents of the southeast, could no longer go via the Petit Savane route into town. And then we had the problem with the gorge at Botica. And for a period of time after Erica, that road was impassable. Personally, being from the area, I know what it is like traveling that route, particularly when you take the Bois Diab area going down, and you realize that on one side of the slope is the valley and the rivers, and on the other side, you have the overhanging cliffs, the rocks. And it has been a concern for many residents and persons commuting the area. And just the thought of what could possibly happen if that road were to cave in, the residents from the area would not be able to come into town. They would be totally cut off.
Joseph said from a planning perspective, the Ministry of Planning welcomes the project. She also said that this project will lead to future benefits as we seek to rebuild with greater resilience in mind. A Spanish company, TIPSA, has been contracted to undertake the pre-engineering and design services under the DVRP. The team from TIPSA comprises of technical experts in areas of geotechnical surveys, topographic surveys, civil and structural engineering, hydrological and hydraulic designs. And the National Bank of Dominica Limited is celebrating its 40th anniversary as a leading commercial bank in Dominica under the theme, A Legacy of Service, a Pursuit of Excellence. Through many challenges and changes due to shifts in the political, economic, and social landscapes, NBD has achieved 4 decades of service and steady growth. Over its 44-year history, NBD has remained committed to the development of the economy through its investment in community development. As the only indigenous bank on the island, NBD has moved beyond providing just banking services and invests substantially in education, sports, culture, health, and many community-based programs. To kick off its anniversary celebration, the bank launched its 40 years, 40 wins giveaway promotion and will be hosting a series of activities throughout the next 10 months. And the Castleboro Secondary School student, Sky LP George, says she wasn't expecting to be voted as the overall winner of the Youth Parliament on Tuesday. George, who seated as the Minister for Trade, Energy and Employment, said her participation in the Youth Parliament debate was fruitful.
I was actually the one more stressing, right? I had a lot of stress and I had a lot on me, right, for this speech. However, I find that based upon my delivery, how I expose myself and carry out my points, I flowed properly and my transition was really good.
George said her ministry included using green designs and incentives to provide citizens with the modern codes and techniques, which she collaborated with the Ministry of Housing to do so. Meantime, sitting as the Speaker of the House of Assembly, a 4th form student at the Dominica Grammar School, Michaela Warrington, says the debate was a very good debate and sufficient points coming from both sides of the House. And stay tuned, we'll be back with more news right after this break.
If you're HIV positive or have an STI, having unprotected sex with multiple partners puts them in grave danger. You'll expose every partner and their present and future partners to HIV or another STI. Use a condom every time you have sex. You can live a productive life even if diagnosed with HIV. Remember, early detection is key to your survival. Be responsible, protect yourself and others. Help stop the spread of HIV and other STIs. When persons with TB sneeze or cough, healthy persons nearby breathe in the droplets and the bacteria can lodge in their lungs. People with weakened immune systems such as HIV/AIDS, alcohol and drug users, smokers, children, and the elderly are most susceptible. Persons with a cough should take precautions when in contact with persons in public places. Cover your mouth when sneezing and coughing. Visit your doctor or health center. You must complete your treatment. TB can be cured even with HIV. Be responsible. Help stop the spread of TB and HIV. Protect yourself and others.
And welcome back. The Samaritans Purse and the Marine Reach have pledged their support to the religious community in Dominica by inviting religious leaders to a meeting where they will encourage to make their needs known. The Samaritans Purse has been one of the first respondents after Hurricane Maria, ensuring the provision of clean drinking water on the island. The Samaritans Purse has also donated relief supplies to individuals and agencies while constructing a number of roofs across the island. According to a representative of the Samaritans Purse, the organization is committed to assisting as much persons as they can in the post-Maria era. The Marine Reach is another organization that has partnered with the Samaritans Purse to assist the religious community in Dominica. Meantime, according to the representative of the Marine Reach, the organization felt obliged to assist Dominica after hearing of the devastation it suffered due to the hurricane. Both the Samaritans Purse and the Marine Reach say they will commit to restoring the roof of many churches in Dominica. They admit that the roof repair is not all that is needed, but therefore they are encouraging the religious leaders to pray more. And the Salvation Army, one of the first respondents to Dominica after Hurricane Maria, say they are pleased to offer some level of relief to the small community of Bagatelle. According to Mark Kellman, a representative from Barbados in the Salvation Army, the Salvation Army arrived in Dominica a week after the Category 5 hurricane caused massive devastation and was eager to assist where the need is great. Kellman stated that in an effort to prevent duplications of services, the Salvation Army has sought to assist communities in which other agencies have not worked, communities such as Bagatelle.
Bagatelle is a combination of working, fishing, and agricultural, basically agricultural society or community. So we're trying to see how best we could facilitate as many people as possible in a holistic way. So we decided to do something for farmers, which we bought some tools and stuff like that, which the village community will have. The farmers can have access to be able to use in order to get back on their feet. Hence why Major was talking about the holiday of chicks. We knew some of you guys were into chickens, goats, pigs, that sort of stuff. So we thought, we spotted a couple of hatcheries at home to see how we could facilitate getting guys back on your feet in terms of getting chicks back down to you, getting wire, getting stuff that you could be able to get your livelihood back together.
Chairperson of the Bagatelle Village Council, Angelina Martin, says that she is delighted that her encounter with the representatives from Samaritans Purse has led to this donation. Angelina Martin noted that she is most interested in ensuring that the needs of the community are met.
And here they are again, and one of the ways in which they are going to help is to cover or re-roof 10 houses, and which we have started. They have in 2 days they re-roofed 2 houses, and they have 8 more to go. Hopefully they can cover 8 more houses. So by meeting with farmers, as he said, that I hope they will continue to assist. So after the meeting, sometime during the meeting or after that, you can probably assist us in giving the list of the needs, what we need and so on. And everything is said there, and I don't have to repeat what Mark said. So what I want to really say is I would like to thank the Salvation Army, Major Denzel, and Pastor Reverend Josiah from the.
Meantime, Geoffrey Fadel, a prominent farmer in the community of Bagatelle, expressed his gratitude for the farming equipment. Fadel laments that farmers have lost excessively, therefore any assistance given will be welcomed. And also in the news, on March 22nd, Dominica, along with the rest of the world, will celebrate World Water Day under the theme Nature for Water. The day focuses attention on the importance of universal access to clean water, sanitation and hygiene facilities in developing countries. The day also focuses on advocating for the sustainable management of freshwater resources. Father Franklin Coffey, chairman of the Adopt a River program in Dominica, says that countries such as Dominica are encouraged to observe this day since it promotes and preserves our water resource.
Well, it's not only been observed as World Water Day, but this year in particular, the International Day has been observed as Blessing of the Water Day. And I think this is very significant. It's first of all acknowledging that we have been blessed by water. We have been gifted, especially Dominica, with over 365 rivers as we claim. Although people say after Maria, we had over 400, you know. But for us this year, we would like to take this opportunity. It's happening on Thursday, the 22nd. And a couple of days later, on the 25th, we will be having our ceremony, first of all, the blessing of the water, and we'll take this opportunity to launch what we call faith tourism. You know, it's something we began with Fort Young Hotel a couple of years ago, but that launch was interrupted by Erica. So we think this is fitting, this 25th, we're inviting people. It's also Palm Sunday, is the beginning of Holy Week. And I still believe, in spite of what is happening post-Maria, I still think, you know, we are blessed to be so much here in Dominica. And I think tourism is, as they say, everybody's business. And faith tourism in particular, for us in Dominica and for the Caribbean, one of the problems though we had when we first attempted faith tourism is so costly to travel in the Caribbean.
Coffee believes that the massive flooding experienced in Dominica during Hurricane Maria has fostered a love-hate relationship with many where the river is concerned. He stated that this observance makes aware the importance of the resources towards sustainable development.
The United Nations has declared a decade of water that is from 2018 to 2028 for sustainable development. And so World Rivers Day is part of the whole process. It's a campaign to end poverty.
Father Coffey reminds all that as we seek to combat climate change, our water resource is our most valuable resource. And the 31-year-old Chester Sarafine of Good Hope is currently on remand at the Dominica State Prison after being charged with the murder of 39-year-old Englebert Laura of the same community. Police PRO Inspector Pelham John Baptist said about 1 a.m. on March 1, 2018 at Good Hope, 39-year-old Englebert Laura sustained an injury to the head. Laura later succumbed to his injury and was officially pronounced dead by a medical doctor. A coroner's inquest has since been convened, John Baptist stated. And the Dominica Manufacturers Association will convene its 7th annual general meeting on Wednesday, 21st March 2018 at the Garaway Hotel under the theme Revival of a Battered Sector. Manufacturing is still relevant to the economy. The manufacturing sector suffered a devastating blow from Hurricane Maria, which left numerous facilities to ruins and wiped out the source of raw materials for the cottage industries. Virgin coconut oil production that was showing much promise with a significant number of producers before the hurricane has been reduced to zero. The Dominica Manufacturers Association is in negotiations with the government of Dominica and the Aid Bank to secure reasonable terms and conditions to access the $15 million facility for manufacturing at the Aid Bank. The Dominica Manufacturers Association is appealing to all manufacturers and potential manufacturers to make a special effort to attend the annual general meeting at the Garaway Hotel on the 21st of March as they strive to revive the battered sector. Manufacturing is still a major pillar in the Dominican economy. And that takes us to the end of today's Primetime News package. On behalf of the entire CBN4 staff, I am Alan Christopher saying thank you for watching and do join us again next time.